On today's menu is a delicious chicken recipe that is peppery and very delicious, requiring just a few basic ingredients to make it. Namaskar and welcome to Curries with Bumbi. Heat oil over medium heat and please use a large pan or pot for this recipe. When the oil is just a little warm, add thinly sliced onions. Today we will be browning the onions. Whenever a recipe calls for browning the onions, add them when the oil is just warm. If you add in very hot oil, then the onions will turn dark immediately after hitting that smoking hot oil. And that is not what we are aiming for. You need to get that coloration gradually. Only then the onions will develop a sweet caramelized flavor. My friends, it's not always about adding tons and tons of ingredients, but actually it is all about building the flavor gradually and patiently. If you rush, you can finish off the dish early, but you won't be satisfied with what you made. Now fry the onions on medium-high heat initially. Once you see the onions starting to develop color, keep the heat of your stove on medium to low and stir it constantly so that all the slices of onions brown up together. If you leave the onions at this stage and get distracted and move away to do something else, then the onion slices that are closest to the base of the pot will brown up and blacken, while the other slices will still stay pale, resulting in some onions getting browned up while others are not, and some getting burnt. We really don't want that. To get an even browning all at the same time, you keep stirring. You can stop just for a second, but do not leave the side of your onion. When they look beautifully browned up like this, add ginger and garlic paste. Stir just for a minute and then add the chicken. Today I am using whole chicken cut up into pieces. And if you are wondering why you can see some pieces with the skin on while others are not, that's because my son loves to have the skin on while my husband and I try to avoid the skin. So the ones with the skin are for my son. Stir the chicken on medium-high heat. Next, add a tablespoon of ground coriander, that is dhania powder, a teaspoon of Kashmiri red chilli powder. Do not add too much of chilli powder as we will be adding black pepper later on. This is black pepper chicken, remember? Then comes salt and just a teaspoon of sugar, which is totally optional. But please do not think that 1 teaspoon of sugar will turn this recipe into a dessert. I really find it very silly when people comment that this is not a dessert recipe that you're adding sugar. I mean, come on, then why do we add salt when making cakes? In spite of adding that little bit of salt while making cakes, they still taste sweet, don't they? Anyway, back to this recipe. If your chicken is releasing a lot of water, please fry till all those chicken juices dry up. This is why I told in the beginning to choose a large pot or pan. If you have a lot of chicken and you choose a small pot to cook in, your chicken pieces are all crowded in one small space. And then it will take a lot of time to get rid of that moisture. A larger surface area will make your work easier and quicker. Okay, here is some plain unflavored yogurt. Take out the yogurt from the refrigerator at least 30 minutes before you start cooking. Whisk it very well to get a smooth consistency. There is no residual liquid as you can see at the bottom of the pot now. So switch off the heat of your stove and add the yogurt a tablespoon at a time. Stir, mix well, and then again add another tablespoon of yogurt and again mix well. Since we did not add any water to the yogurt today, that's why we are mixing in the yogurt little by little to prevent it from curdling. I keep repeating these tips whenever it comes to cooking with yogurt. Number 1, take out the yogurt from the refrigerator at least 30 minutes before it hits the hot pan. Number 2, stir or whisk the yogurt very well till it becomes smooth. Number 3, switch off the heat of your stove or reduce the heat of your stove to the lowest possible mark whenever you add yogurt to the hot pan. Number 4, stir continuously immediately after adding the yogurt till it gets well mixed. After you are done mixing all the yogurt, keep the heat to medium. Keep stirring till you start seeing bubbles. When you start seeing those bubbles, you can now give some rest to your tired hands. Okay, everything is well mixed. Now cover on and let it simmer away on very low heat for 20 minutes. In between, remember to give a stir. After 20 minutes, See how much liquid has come out in spite of not adding any water. This dish calls for very little gravy, but if you see it to be too dry, then you can add a little more hot water because you don't want it to be too dry either. At this point, I added some green bell peppers, that is capsicum. You can use bell peppers of any color. Give a good stir and let it get cooked for 2 more minutes. Do a taste test because depending on that, you are going to add black pepper. At this point, I added a teaspoon of ghee. If you do not like ghee, then you can skip it altogether. Or you can also add butter. Next comes the star of the show, freshly crushed black pepper. Now for this recipe, use coarsely ground black pepper because that little bit of bite you will be getting onto a black pepper will be tasting good. But if you will be serving this to kids, then I would suggest grinding the black pepper a little more so that it doesn't cause irritation in their throats. Though I use 2.5 teaspoons of black pepper, I leave this proportion up to you. Do a taste test and adjust the proportion according to your preference. After adding the black pepper, do not cook any further. Switch off the heat and then I sprinkle few drops of lemon juice, and today I added chopped parsley as I'm out of coriander leaves. Can you believe that? How could I be out of coriander leaves? The green capsicum should have a little bit of bite to them. They should not lose their color, nor should they turn all mushy-dushy. You can serve this with roti, naan, paratha, masala rice, pulao or white rice. It really turns out to be very, very delicious and I hope you will like it. Bye-bye.